This is a little fun fact. Fact. It's a fun fact. I'm currently balancing my phone on a bottle of aloe vera and a V8 can to use the tripod. It worked. It's worked. It's effective, right? Adaptation. That is the key to success, right? Real quick, I wanted to talk about. So I've been talking about my future trip to Tulsa, right? And we're getting halfway through July, and right around the next week or so is when the time I would be wanting to look for a plane ticket. But things have changed up where the fact that I thought that I had more time for the summers than I actually do. Like, the kids are going back to school, or my son's going back to school. My daughter's starting school at the beginning of August. So fuck, summer's pretty much done at this point. Not like that was a big key thing for me going to Tulsa, but it was a big key thing for me taking my vacation with the family here locally, going to Orlando to one of the parks, and I haven't done that yet. All right, so the combination of taking 2 trips out of the state within a week of me paying my rent and then me buying the TL is put a hit on the bank account that didn't quite recover. Like, I recovered and then I spent money again, and then bills came at the same time. So like, I'm not fucking flat broke, but I'm closer to flat broke than I've been in a while. So it's kind of like, put the brakes on. Now the good thing is my bills are already for the most part paid. I got like 1 or 2 bills left that are small, and then the rest of the month I'm saving. So we'll be back to a couple thousand in a week or so. But it just kind of made me think, like, I don't want to buy my plane ticket for Tulsa, the rental car, and hotel all at the same time. That's what kind of fucked me up going to New Hampshire. I don't know. I didn't really, that's a lie. I didn't buy the plane ticket at the same time. It was in advance, but not, But still, like, the 2 trips back to back, I did spend money. Not a lot of money going to West Virginia, but money was still spent. So, and then I coming back from West Virginia, paying rent, and then most of my bills are in the first half of the month, and then going to New Hampshire as well. So anyway, this is a little personal note, but I'm kind of like, thinking about the Tulsa thing, thinking about, what I'm going to do when I get out there, because I don't want to just waste my time. Now, of course, meeting these guys isn't a waste of time. For me, it's valuable enough to go out there just to do that. But I'd like to make something of it too. And I've also said that I'm not going to film while I'm out there because it's awkward for me. But I kind of think there's a couple of things that was a factor. One thing led to me thinking about another. Like, one thing is, like, I do want to get some results back from these engines I'm doing. Like, I don't want to just be like an unknown factor. Now, I know I have videos on this channel of the engines I've built, and I've had people that have vouched, but it's just, there's a recency bias. There's always a recency bias. What have you done lately? Like, what have you done recently? Right? So I want to have something that I can show that even if it doesn't come up in conversation, people will know it. People will be aware of it. And being aware of something that's happening recently will also change your mind on the way you see things. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing for everybody, right? Whether we like to admit it or not, the things we know about somebody or things we've seen recently changes your opinion on somebody, right? So me waiting a little longer when Edgar's supposed to have his swap in the car in the first week of August, if I remember correctly. And then I don't know Roger's status on the B18. I don't know how long he's going to take to get that in, but even if it takes a while, still, at least I'll have Edgar that I can fall back on. And then there's the single cam build that I'm doing, the stock rebuild. Now, because it's a stock rebuild, I would like to imagine it's going to be in the car running soon. Now, I know it doesn't really mean much for power-wise or anything, but at least it's still another running engine. And it'll be consecutive with at least one other I'm doing that I put out at the same time. So there's that. There's that to have. Also, the big thing, the one I was like, oh, that's a really good one. I'm starting the podcast now, right? And I know that, like I said, that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hesitant to get on there, because they don't want to be the first one and all that shit. So I do this one with Blake this weekend. I've already got another one that I've planned on that I'd like to do. It's not car related, but it's something that's also close to home for me. It's a fitness related type deal. A friend of mine that helped motivate me just by being himself. And like, he didn't say anything to me to try and talk me up or anything. Just somebody that I could see that I was close to that made me like, damn, I really need to get my fucking life on track. So that combination of being cornered into pictures on my birthday, realized I'd really gone too far. So he's somebody I'd like to get on here. I've talked to, and so that could potentially be the very next podcast. So I'll have 2, hopefully back to back. Like, I'll have Blake and then him the next week if everything goes the way I would like to, and then I think with those 2, then I'll start once I get Blake done. then I'll start reaching out. So it won't be just the next guy. Hopefully it'll be 2 other guys after that I also will have lined up. So the whole point of that is like I can use the next couple of weeks, the next month or so, to rack up podcasts, because this is something I want to be big. Now I won't stop doing what I'm doing regularly, but the podcast I think is probably something that's going to be that it might dominate at least for a little while, because eventually I'll run out of people that I can get in touch to here. I would imagine that's eventually what's going to happen, until I can start getting to like the bigger guys that I wanted to like to do. So what's important about the podcast? Why would you care? Why? Can you guess why? For you guys that know Humble well, Kenny, man. Who the fuck would not like to pick Kenny's brain? As a matter of fact, if somebody's ever had to sit down with Kenny and filmed it and just talk to Kenny about his life or whatnot, point me in that fucking direction, because I would love to see that fucking podcast, because that's something that I would definitely... Kenny's the guy, like, Kenny's a huge motivation for going out to Humble, right? Just being able to sit and talk with that guy. Now, why not be able to film that if I can? Now, if I can convince him to do the podcast with me, that would be fucking amazing. That would be gold, right? Now, I would like to, of course, I'd like to get Alex too, but I think that these guys both have interesting enough stories, because Kenny, whether some people like to, admit that or not, Kenny is huge in the community, even though he doesn't really do anything except film and, like, talk on the phone or whatnot, and I might be wrong on that. He might have a bigger involvement than I realize. This is something I'd like to learn. So I would love to have Kenny and Alex do his own thing, but I don't think I'll be able to catch Alex. I think I'm a long ways away from being able to get Alex to sit down and talk with me. And that's fine. That's okay. Just be around enough. Get friendly enough with people. Get people used to seeing me around, and then hopefully one day I can get Alex cornered. Plus, another thing is I think that Alex himself has mentioned that he would like to go back to Puerto Rico and document the things and show his own thing. So I think that he already wants to do something like that himself, and hopefully I can just add to it on a one-on-one someday. But yeah, so the whole thing is I'm going to push back the Tulsa trip indefinitely. I would like to still say that I would do it this year, but the reason why I scheduled it, or was loosely scheduling it for August the way I was, is because August seemed to be the time slot that made the most sense, because SEMA and the Vegas trip has to happen, and that's at the end of November, or the beginning of November, end of October type deal. So we're not looking at much time between now and then. Like, I know it seems like it's a long way away, but we're already in the end of July, and it just seems like 2019 just started. So, so yeah, I gotta say indefinitely, because if I can't make to the Tulsa trip in August, then I can't see a time that I'm going to make it anytime sooner. Because if I'm doing the trip to Vegas in November, then we're talking about December and Christmas and birthdays being right around the corner for me, because like my wife's birthday, my son's birthday, my daughter's birthday, and Jesus' birthday is all in the same month for me. So if I can't make the August trip to Tulsa, which is not looking like it's something I want to do right now, then I can't. I'm not going to be able to make that trip until next year, being honest. And I've already kind of been promising that I was going to make the West Virginia trip again sometime first quarter next year. So I don't know, man. It's looking like Tulsa might be a whole fucking year potentially from now. And I'd like to say that that's not the case, but it might be. The only thing I say about that is maybe something will come up where I'll do a last minute trip like I did at the beginning of the year with the first holiday, and do something like that. But this is just going to give me some more time to get some more engines out there, to get more podcasting done so more people can see that, and then maybe it'll be a better case and a more likely a chance I can get Kenny to sit down and talk with me. So that's just something I want to talk about right now. It looks like it's going to be, we're canceling the Tulsa trip for the time being, but of course it's still definitely something I want to do. Humble Alex and Kenny are the reasons why I started, the big reasons, my big motivation for starting these trips, so I'd like to get that done, and I still want to get out to LA. So I don't know, we're just going to see. I'm just going to have to see how the next fucking couple of months go. If I can do some more engine work, if I can sell a couple of engines, if I have an extra $1,000 pop up in my bank account over the next month or so, then of course I'm willing to change like that. If I have an extra stack, then I can take that money and buy the plane ticket and all that shit, then we're good to go. It's just right now I've gotten to the place where I'm comfortable having a certain amount of money in the bank, and I do not want to go less than that, just because it's just trying to be a little bit more responsible, which is, you know, it's amazingly enough 10 years into my relationship. But I guess the thing is, when you get used to being broke and living broke all the time, it doesn't seem like a weird thing to be broke. But then you go a good stretch when you're not broke and you have the extra money and you get used to that, and then when you see that safety cushion start to shrink again, it kind of makes you nervous. So I'm at that point where, like, I've been comfortable enough most of this year where I don't want to see that cushion leave. So I'm just trying to make the adult decision here. And so just for those of you guys that did care, have any kind of investment for the Tulsa trip and the results from what that's going to happen, it's gonna take a little longer. But hopefully when I do make the trip, it'll just be that much more impactful. It won't just be for me when I go. It'll be for us. All right, guys. So that's all I wanted to talk about for right now. And just the podcast thing. I know it hasn't even started yet, but I'm really, really fucking excited about this and the potential it has. Like I said, it's something I wanted to do for a long time, and finally getting around to it. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. As always, for those guys that watch the shit like this, it's not really car related. I appreciate it, and peace.